We're big fans of the gold newsletter. It gives a lot of perspective to those day-to-day, month-to-month, quarter-to-quarter changes in the gold price and the outlook. But just stepping back from that a moment, as a mining engineer and somebody who's been in this business for 30 years, what strikes me is that there's a real shortage of supply of quality gold projects in good jurisdictions around the world with which to feed that pipeline of future production that the industry is needing. And if you look at it in aggregate, we're discovering about 20 to 30 million ounces a year of gold and producing about 100 million ounces or 120 million ounces a year of gold across the gold business. So there's a big gap. It's growing, and it's getting a lot more complicated with all of the challenges globally and in some of these more difficult jurisdictions in the world. Revival Gold, founded in 2017, is focused on the Track Arnett gold project in Idaho. I'm going to talk about that project, some cautionary notes here for your reference. But it is the second largest discovery of gold in the United States in the last decade. So it's a pretty tremendous find. 4 million ounces of gold. We're in the western state of Idaho, which makes us a pretty favorable place to be. Top 10 in the world in terms of investment attractiveness, according to Fraser Institute. And what makes our project so unique, or I think relative to many of our peers, is that we've got existing infrastructure with which to take a first phase restart of this operation in this gold price cycle. Beyond that, we've got an impressive mill phase to the project as we're developing out in the underground and beyond the first phase project, where we see potential for something in the order of over 200,000 ounces a year of gold production, and with some recent impressive intersections like 10 grams over 11 meters within 115 meters of 3.5 grams drilled at the tail end of last season. We are in the western U.S. This is a good place to be. We're just north of Nevada, lots of mining history in Idaho, and 28 million ounces of undeveloped gold in that state. Our land position, assembled from a number of different parties, going back actually to the descendants of the first governor of the state of Idaho, is an impressive 5,800 hectares, about 12,000 acres. And you can see the main aspects on this property land map of the property position is this major fault zone. It's about 5 kilometers, over 5 kilometers long, and it's mineralized throughout. I mentioned that we have a first phase to this project. It's a relatively modest scaled aspect, heap leach. 65 to 70,000 ounces a year is what we're targeting, with a mine life of 7 to 9 years. And again, this is on a brownfield site. I'll show you some of that infrastructure in a moment, but it makes it relatively low risk. And the capital in our PEA study completed in late 2020 was about $100 million. So this is relatively straightforward for a junior company to pursue. I won't spend a lot of time talking about our team, but we've got the former general manager from the operation. Our non-executive chairman is the gentleman who was involved with the original operation of the mine back when it was operated by Meridian Gold. And the rest of our team has literally decades of experience in the gold mining business. So this is something that's a relatively unique first phase aspect to the project. I mentioned that infrastructure. We've got power to site, roads, an operating ADR facility. That's the gold processing facility that we'll refurbish for this first phase of the operation. And of course, we've got hydropower in Idaho, which makes it extremely cost efficient and ESG carbon friendly. This is our satellite Haiti deposit. The pink shading describes the outline of the current mineralization there. There's a large soil geochem anomaly up dip of that mineralization, which is very prospective for continuing to grow the deposit, and it's open in all directions. Within our Arnett, or the left branch of the property position, we have several other soil geochem anomalies, geophysical anomalies. We haven't been out to test any of those yet, but we're looking to do that as we continue to expand on Haiti and grow beyond. I want to speak now about that follow-on project potential. It's a very impressive structure that we have going through the property position. Just so happens to be in the tail of the head frame, so to speak, here pictured in pink on the map, on the figure you see here, going right by our property position and literally riddled with gold. This is 5.5 kilometers of strike. Over 3.5 million ounces of gold in an open pit setting going into underground. What's really attracted our attention in the last couple of years is at the south end of the project, circled here, where we've got about 2 kilometers of trend. In each of those magenta samples shown on this figure is over 5 grams per ton gold. The south pit zone on the right-hand side of the slide is in part in an open pit. Going into the Joss zone, we've got a lot of underground potential there. I want to focus in on that now very briefly. That is about 1 kilometer of strike and 20 drill holes. The average is grading just under 3 grams over 45 meters drilled width. And within that, we've got just under 8 grams over 5 to 6 meters of drilled width. And again, kilometer of strike, drilled over 500 meters of vertical elevation, and open in all directions. This is a bit busy, but the figure on the right is a cross-section through the deposit structure. The shading is the block model as it currently stands, beneath which 200 meters below, we drilled at the tail end of last year 11 meters of 10 grams and a further 10 meters of 6 grams, all within 115 of 3.5 grams gold. And it is 100% gold. This deposit doesn't have any a silver equivalent or other polymetallic elements. It's 100% gold. The structure is vertical, which makes it very attractive for underground mining, and it's pervasive. We've got lots of continuity here. Here's some of the core for those that are interested, and I encourage you to stop by our booth, our table area, and chat further with us. But just this one picture here for your interest. Pretty competent rock in the mineralized zone. It is a shear zone, so we get some broken up material going through the fault structure in locations, but very consistent. And the deposit's grown. Since 2018, when we came out with a maiden resource at 2 million ounces, we went to 2020 with a 3 million ounce resource, and then in the early part of last year, 4 million ounces. And our finding cost has been pretty consistent at less than $5 an ounce of gold. That's an impressive discovery cost, even with the high cost of drilling in the United States that we experience. Very quickly, share structure, pretty tight at 92 million shares outstanding, well owned by institutions with about 40% of some of the key gold investors in the space, management and board at about 11%, so you can bet we're working hard for our shareholders, and basic market cap about $62 million today. That's the story in a nutshell. We've got a strong foundation for future growth. We've got a project that's advancing through the first phase into a PFS, which will be out mid-year. We've got an updated resource on the come, and of course, continued exploration as we have an open deposit in all directions and very prospective mineralization to continue to pursue. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brian, for having us on your panel.